Hello, Challenger. We're going to be talking about how to write, speak, teach, share your Java expertise, and build a legacy. I'm Rafael Del Nero, a Java champion, and I run this live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. London time. So why doing that is important? So if you write, speak, or teach your knowledge, you're going to be known by this thing you write, speak, and teach. And when you have the reputation of someone who solves those specific problems, you're going to be visible to those companies who need a developer who shares knowledge about those problems. And you also become the go-to person to solve those problems. And that's actually a great way for you to market yourself and to be a great developer. So why it's important then? So let's start discussing here some of those topics. So a way to get visibility and to improve your skills is to contribute to open source projects. So think about the project that you really like. So for example, if you enjoy working with Spring or any other framework, why not contributing with those open source technologies? So by doing that, you won't be only learning stuff, you're going to be really creating something useful. And if you do that, you're going to get your career to another whole level. And a great way to get started with open source is to start small, the things that nobody wants to do. And then by showing that you're willing to be consistent and to be around this project and, to be contributing to those open source projects, it won't only help on your CV, but it will also help on your marketing as well. And another great thing to share knowledge about is to share solutions to common problems or best practices in Java. So if you know a better way to create code in Java, to create maintainable code, why not sharing your knowledge so that you are known as this developer who is able to create high quality code? Another way to share your knowledge is to simply write blogs or articles to document your learning journey. So for example, if you are learning about microservices and you're not really used to microservices, why not creating articles about architecture or about microservices? Because by doing that, you'll be contributing with the Java community and you'll be also filling out the gaps of your learning. Because when you share your knowledge, that's the ultimate way to learn this technology. So let's suppose you want to learn Kubernetes. So you can even use AI to learn, because nowadays we have really powerful LLMs, can use ChatGPT, can use Cloud, can use Llama. There are lots of technologies that you can use to learn. So why not using those technologies and sharing what you know through articles? Because really, if you post one article on LinkedIn, you're going to have lots of visibility, and who knows, you might even get a job because you did that. And another great thing about having a blog is that the whole interview might be based on your blog, on what you wrote. And then you get the best sellers in the market, right? Because while others are going through interview processes, you are getting visible, you are writing articles, you are sharing your knowledge, and you are positioning yourself as a standout developer. And if you decide to write blogs and articles, it's important that you decide how often you're going to write those articles. So for example, you might decide that you're going to be writing articles once a week. If you think that's too much, maybe bi-weekly. You can write an article every 2 weeks. If that's too much, you can write a monthly article. And you have to decide how often you're going to do that, because if you do that in 1 month and then you stop and then you write another article after 6 months, then you're not consistent. Then you are just writing some articles, right? And when you writing some articles without consistency, you basically lose your audience. You lose the traction as well. So usually you would stop. Like if you don't have consistency and you stop for some reason, you would give up. For example, I had many problems with my email tool, and that's why I don't have many people here, and that's okay. But I'm doing that anyway, even though I couldn't get many people here. So it's okay. I'm just keeping the consistency and just doing it. I'm just doing it. And that's what you need to do sometimes as well. I have to push through it. You have to do things even when you don't feel like it. There will be days that you really don't feel like it. Today I'm tired, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm consistent. So start speaking as well. So your learnings through webinars or live coding sessions. So it's important that, like I'm doing here, I'm doing a live webinar. I'm here with you and I'm helping you in your career, and create short video tutorials on Java concepts. That also works a lot, because if you share specific concepts that developers are looking for, then that's great because you might get lots of visibility, lots of views in your video. And that helps you a lot because, you know, you might even get a second income because if your channel is good enough that you get lots of views, you might be able to get sponsorship, and the sponsorship might give you a passive income. So there are many ways to make more money nowadays online, but you know, you have to sometimes swallow the bitter pill and keep doing it even if you don't feel like it, and just trust the process. Just keep going. And this is hard. Sometimes it's very hard. But anyway, like if you have a Java user group close to your place, present at the local meetups or small tech events. Like if you know that Java user group leader, talk to this person, offer to give a lightning talk and get started, right? Because once you get started giving talks about anything technical, you're going to be known as the person, as the go-to person that knows this specific technology. And as a more experienced developer, it's more and more necessary to mentor as experienced developers. So if you're the position of a senior developer, why not mentoring junior developers? Why? Because the more you do that, the more you're going to be improving communication skills, and you're going to be also filling out the gaps of our skills. Sometimes we think we know something, but then when you're going to explain to someone else, there are lots of things that we are lacking. So try mentoring junior developers to fill out those gaps and learn from them, right? Sometimes they will ask you something that seems to be obvious, but also sometimes you don't even know the answer. So look for the answers and help them, and create beginner-friendly guides or courses on Java basics. So if you create content for Java beginners, you're going to get a lot more traction if you have a YouTube channel. Why? Because there are a lot more beginners than intermediate or senior developers. And another way to work on your communication skills and also gain visibility is to help newcomers to Java by answering questions on platforms like Stack Overflow or Reddit or even Quora. There are some questions regarding Java there, and why not taking the time to help them? You're going to be helping other people, and it's going to also help you in your career because, for example, if you have a lot of points on Stack Overflow, that definitely helps you on your CV, on your LinkedIn profile, and you can, share your how many points you have on Stack Overflow on your LinkedIn profile, and you can show yourself as a developer who is able to solve problems, because no company nowadays wants a developer who just codes. They want developers who solves real problems. So you as a developer, you have to understand about the business and you have to implement that solution that makes sense. And nowadays, coding is not a very valuable skill anymore because you can create the whole code using AI. But solving business problems, that's the real value, right? So it is something still that is difficult to AI. Therefore, it's something more valuable. So basically, the more difficult it is to replace your work, the more you're going to earn. If your skill is only to code, then you basically lose your job to AI because you can create any code you can imagine through AI. I build presence, network with Java professionals at conferences and forums. So this is important. And even if you don't feel like it, talking to other people, just reach out to them and get to know them because it will help you to become a better Java developer. Use LinkedIn, Twitter, or GitHub to share your work and insights. So for example, creating a post on LinkedIn, this is very useful. Create posts like an article because that's what the LinkedIn profile, the LinkedIn algorithm likes the most. So create a post like an article so that you get more views and visibility. And establish a personal blog or website to showcase your knowledge. So that's a great investment in your career. Have a blog, write articles, and show your expertise. Because, by writing articles and showing your knowledge, you're going to build a reputation. And the more you do that, it's like a great investment in your career. Because then you show that you're highly skilled and highly knowledgeable. So, and to create a blog, you can, choose a server. So the server I use nowadays, Hostinger, it's pretty good, pretty fast. And then inside the Hostinger, I install WordPress. So WordPress is an open source tool to write blog posts. And it's amazing. It's very robust. You can find many plugins. And the good thing about using WordPress is that you don't have to use your time creating your own website, and you can use very powerful tools on WordPress. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can just use WordPress. And obviously, like when you're using hosting, you have to buy your domain as well. So there's some steps. It's very easy. Like we are developers, so you just need to buy here these host and then use a domain and then install the WordPress. Deliver impactful talks. So obviously, like you wouldn't start all of a sudden in big conferences such as Java One, Devox, or JAX. You need to learn how to submit talks and submit talks in a way that your title is interesting, in a way that your title will draw attention for other Java developers. But you can start small. You start small in your company, then you go to a Java user group, and then you give talks, you submit talks to conferences and see if you are successful or not. And also host workshops on advanced Java techniques or architecture best practices, because that's a great way to show that you have the knowledge of an architect. So for example, if you're a Java developer, if you're a senior Java developer who wants to become an architect, but you're not getting opportunities, why not positioning yourself as an architect when you are sharing your knowledge? Because if you do that, it's going to be a lot easier to become an architect, right? Because you have the proof that you have the knowledge of a Java architect. So why not creating this content and giving talks about architecture and showing that you know that, right? And share real world experiences in podcasts or panel discussions. So why not creating a group with developers who are interested in learning more? Like call your colleagues, call your coworkers and start something, start a podcast, start panel discussion and start inviting people to your podcast and ask questions and, share with people your knowledge, everything you learned on those podcasts. And that's a great way for you to, have access to a job as an architect, for example, because you could create a podcast and talk only about architecture. And then by doing that, you're going to be known as a developer who is good with architecture, right? So, and another thing is about establishing thought leadership. So share white papers or case studies on enterprise level Java solutions. So another great way to gain authority and expertise is to publish in-depth technical articles on advanced Java topics. By doing that, you position yourself as a Java developer who knows the ins and outs of the Java programming language. And by doing that, you might be seen as by those technical companies who want you to know a lot about Java and also write a book or ebook about Java frameworks, performance tuning, or software design patterns. So I wouldn't recommend you very much actually to write an article about design patterns. So let me remove that because really there's so much content about the same thing. Design patterns are everywhere. So no point about doing that. You can write about maybe microservices, architecture, or about security. You can write about AI with Java. So those are very important topics nowadays. So there are many things you can explore and you can make use of AI, you can make use of the internet, you can make a really good research. So nowadays you have a lot of resources to help you create content. So why not mixing your experience with AI, with books and doing nice research. And then that will help you to learn more and at the same time become a reference, right? Because if you post an article that has a lot of insights, you're going to become a reference. Therefore, it's going to be easier for you to get the best jobs. And in the end, leave a legacy. Inspire the next generation by sharing your journey in lessons learned. So help newer developers to do something similar from what you're doing, help them grow in their careers, because, by doing that, you create a legacy and your message will be echoing from generation to generation, right? So then you create an infinite cycle where you create a lasting impact in the world, right? So that's a great thing to do and a good motivation to mentor other developers. You leave a legacy, right? You develop tools, libraries, or frameworks that address specific challenges in Java development. So for example, if you see a problem in a framework, or if you see that you can create a tool or a library to help you in your Java development, why not make it open source and allow other people to use your code? And, you could create a company, could create a project and, maybe have a passive income with the second project. And you can also partner with colleagues or institutions to guide future Java developers. Therefore, the importance of sharing knowledge is that, per se, you're going to be visible for the best companies. The second thing is that you're going to fill out your knowledge gaps, because sometimes we think we know it, but when you're going to explain this concept to someone else, we notice that we really don't know it. So it's important to do this exercise of sharing your knowledge. And the other benefit of sharing your knowledge is that you improve your communication skills. The more you do that, you develop the part of your brain that you give talks, and it's a skill. Giving talks is definitely a skill. The more you do that, the better you get, right? So why not investing in this powerful skill, since it's going to be a very good investment for your whole career? So, and I've seen a post from Vlad. I don't know how to pronounce his surname, but he's a Java champion and he's very focused on database. And Vlad, he mentioned on LinkedIn that one of the best investments in his career was his blog. So once he started writing blogs, his career rocket launched. So, and it's not really difficult nowadays, even more nowadays, guys. So nowadays you can use AI to help you write articles more quickly. Obviously, I'm not saying to just copy and paste without knowing what's going on in your article. You need to review everything. You don't need to put some personal touch. But, nowadays it's a lot easier to research. We have so much resources. We have so many things available on the internet. It's incredible. So I recommend you to start your blog. If you don't want to the struggle, you can simply just post your articles on LinkedIn, and then that's it. You have your article. You can even use the FTO. That will be fine as well. And that will be enough to gain certain visibility. And actually creating articles on LinkedIn will really help you to get visibility. Because I remember when I started posting articles on LinkedIn, recruiters just found me. I don't know where, but they just found me more quickly. So start doing that, create articles, share your expertise. Don't be afraid of criticism, because I'm pretty sure you know enough to share your knowledge. And also keep in mind that while you're sharing knowledge and writing articles, you're also learning, because when you share your knowledge, it doesn't mean that you know everything about the subject. You can also be learning this specific subject. So that's pretty much it, everyone. Congratulations for investing in your career and doing your best to go to the next level. And if you want to give a feedback for this talk, I'm going to leave the form where you can give the feedback and you can say whatever topic you would like to have to know. And also after you fill out the feedback to this weekly live, I will also give you the mind map. Okay. So that's pretty much it for today. And I'm going to be here again next Tuesday at 10 p.m. London time. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon then.